Here we go, folks. Look at that. Do you see that wonderful, beautiful, incredible new countdown timer we got? I mean, we're late. We're obviously fashionably late, but how cool was that? If you could see that, then let us know. Hit the like button. Ben's going to introduce us because I'm still trying to send this link out. But what a beauty. What do you reckon, Ben?
Hey, I just changed my internet. I was already excited. I seen like a 4-3 and it just went boom, internet. What? I wanted to be there like, did you see that? We've obviously upgraded for another episode 23, I believe, of the Jedi and Rebel Show. Here to serve the community and the people that tune in at the highest standard, hopefully giving you some value, tips and techniques to upgrade and live an astounding life. I'm excited for today's show. Si's going to share some great stuff, some advanced stuff, but some great stuff, especially with the turning of events that we're about to go into. Don't know if you're in the area, Manchester, we're going into tier 3 lockdown. We are very aware how much stress and pressure that puts on people, and it's never be a greater time that we feel so relevant to be out there speaking what we speak and helping some people through that, hopefully with some practical skills and steps that they can apply straight away into their life. So yeah, man, let's rock and roll. Who's in? Who's watching?
Who's watching? If you're tuning in, we're going to be back again. The new lockdown live is about half hour max, so hit the like button, say hello, say something. Let us know what program you're in of ours, by the way. If you're an Academy member, just put you're in Academy. If you're in our 30-day program, just put 30-day. If you're watching lockdown and you just follow us, I'm just following you. Let us know where you're from. Or if you're mastery, hit us up. Let us know you're a mastery. I'd love to know who's here. And as Ben always says, make sure you hit the like button and say hello and put something out there. So, Ben, my man, I got a question for you. How's your first week in the Unbreakable program cracking on?
Man, I feel at home. I feel like it's where I need to be right now. And I said that at the beginning, but not only have I had a great time, there's so much satisfaction in seeing people go through what I've been through and, hearing these results left, right and centre, right? Not just on the Academy, but in the 30 days. And now just being on the other side of that. And here's the other thing. Wow, did I underestimate the work that's involved? Did I underestimate what Simon has been doing for a long time? And credit to you, my man. I mean, taking care of 100, 200 people that are all in need of, Simon time and the Unbreakable system. I don't know how you've done it. So a massive credit to you, and I'm sure people can respect that.
What can I say? Folks, there's loads of people in here tuning in from Grantham. KC, I'm on. What's up, Lorraine? Emma's in from the 30 days. Veronica's in. Brilliant. She did a 30 days of us. Ray's in. Ray Polt, I've seen you back to 7 days. Lorraine. Jason Etheridge is in the Mastery crew. Fair play. Tina's in. Lisa's in. Brian's in from the Academy. Brilliant. Bev's in. Academy and loving it.
I think that our good friend KC, who we were trying to get it in your group tonight, she's done an amazing job. Casey and Haley have 18,000 people in a group. When we was in lockdown, up and down the country, helping people, bringing people together, united. I mean, some of the stuff we've done is incredible. I done a live in there last week, which was great. We was trying to get the live, which we do every Thursday at 8:30, serving the community into your group. We have to be admin or something. So next week we'll get it sorted, but we will share this live next week into the group, and we'll also put the last 22 episodes as well.
Nice. What's up, Paul? Paul's in the crew. Ian Turnbull's in the crew. Got a hold of our academies has turned up, or our mastery group. So, folks, here's the deal. Tonight we thought we'd share some stuff real quick, which is, how to keep a healthy mind in stressful times.
Mental.
I think, what a topic. How to keep a healthy mind in stressful times. And I think mainly because there's a lot of stress going on. We talked about this last week, and I was just going to drop this in our actual Academy group this week. We run our Academy on something called Workplace, which is great. It's like our own social media platform for Unbreakable, and it takes a bit of getting used to, like any new platform. But when people get in and get used to it, it becomes home for them. So I like to share some stuff on my profile over there, and we're going to talk about what's up, Dave Watson. what I wanted to post was I track a lot of stuff. I know Ben does. Ben, you've got your Oura ring and stuff, man.
Uh-huh.
You know, Ben's there. And I was just saying that one of the main goals in my own personal practice, right, my own personal training, is to try and raise my alpha levels. Now, alpha is like your brain operates at certain levels, to put it simply, certain frequencies. And if you've got higher levels of alpha in your brain, like it operates on that frequency more, you're going to be calmer, going to be more in control, more creative. You're going to have more almost like choice over what you do. It's like it really is a superpower to train your brain to operate. And we can track that in our mastery programs through measuring brain waves and stuff. So to cut a long story short, I was like, the more alpha you've got in your brain, generally, the more you can create, or more you can allow, to be technical, the calmer you're going to be and the healthier your mind's going to be through stressful times. And so there's 4 things I've noticed, and Ben build up on all these, right? I had a month last month where my alpha levels were dropping, which is unusual for me. And I was like, I wonder why they're dropping, I wonder why. And I was reflecting on it, and we did so much. We upgraded our academy. We brought in coach, like Ben come in to coach. Jess moved into some coaching. We created this system to allow people to progress through. We had to change all of the run-ins of it, not because it wasn't working, but because we how can we make this better? We started investing more time into stuff like this. So I had a lot of going on professionally as well as personally, right? And so I could see my alpha levels were dropping. And I was like, what am I not doing as well that I was doing? And it's come down to 4 real simple things, but there's a 5th special bonus here, right, that I know is going to ruffle some feathers, but I also know anyone who implies it will get so much out of their mind. I think we're missing a big trick when it comes to how to get people in a better mental state. Whether you call that mental health or whether you call that high performance training or mindset, it's all under the same umbrella. We just like to call mental health when it's not good, right? It's like it's mental health now because you're not good, but it's high performance when you want to feel good. It's like they're all the same thing. Do you think?
Absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. People are making up all types of names for it now, but yeah, your mental health, physical health, heart health. We've all got a responsibility to look after it. I know what side's going to get into here, but we can physically see poor physical health, but we can't visually see poor mental health. And the correlation between eating processed food and a poor diet and not exercising and not training and having poor physical state is the same way of having your energy, zapped every day. Thinking negatively is like just eating processed food. You haven't even got an immune system in the brain, so there's nothing dealing with that. So you can see how we can deteriorate with his health, but we do nothing to improve it. And that's why we say we're pioneering the game, because it's not about just positive stuff and let's just think positive and let's just not think about that and let's just exercise because that can improve your mental health. Exercise can improve your mental health, no doubt, to a degree. But that's like trying to improve your mental health to improve your physical state. It overlaps, because if you think better, feel better, you'll make better decisions. If you physically train better, then you might feel better. But you have to have exercises and steps and tactics and techniques and method, whatever, to train them all. And that's why, Unbreakable results that it's got. Yeah.
So there's 4 things that everyone's going to know, right? But my friend Tom, who we had on here, calls them the yeahs. He calls if the things that we all go, oh, yeah. So I got caught in this trap of in a few things, right? I'm big enough to hold my hand up. So I started going, oh, yeah, about sleep.
Yeah.
My alpha levels, my healthy mind levels, put it that way for the simplicity. When my sleep decreased, because I track it, I was struggling to create that level. Now, for anyone here who's going, oh, God, improving sleep has to be one of the most important things. I track my sleep, I track my levels, and all of a sudden, my alpha levels were struggling, my sleep was struggling, right? And so the number one thing I think anyone can do is sleep better. The second one is sometimes sleep a little bit more. Like, they're not always the same thing, but sometimes just sleep. Like, I did this experiment where I just got up when I got up. I know not everyone can always do that.
Mm.
But I just got up when I got up, and I got it off somebody who's really well thought of in that industry. And they were like, throughout lockdown, I let my kids just sleep. You know what? Let's stop setting an alarm. If they wake up, they have to get up. But if they don't wake up, they stay in bed.
Nice.
And their happiness and their health skyrocketed because they started, you get in a sleep debt. But we're obsessed with getting people out of bed early, but we create these sleep debts. And it was like their sleep had just like restored them. And so sometimes, I'm not saying you have to just not set an alarm, but sometimes we're all in a bit of a sleep debt. And so the first thing is I noticed that I wasn't sleeping very well. And that's because I was using my phone late at night. I was breaking all my own rules. I was using my phone first thing in the morning. That's a no-no, late night first thing in the morning. I know Ben's big at that. The second thing is I was eating massive meals late at night. That stops you sleeping very well. Fact. So I was doing all these different things. But the first thing is improving sleep will improve your mental capacity. The second thing is movement was low. When I have a lot of steps in my day, I produce better levels of what we would call alpha, so healthier levels. When my steps were low, not happening. No matter how much you go to the gym, no matter how much I was training hard or going for a run or lifting some weights or whatever, hitting a punch bag, if I wasn't getting steps up in the day, it wasn't happening. Seriously, I have to get steps. And everyone here, it sounds so simple. These are the 4 simple things. Like, they're the yeah-yeahs. Oh, I move loads. I say, oh, track your steps. I move loads. And then they go, oh, 6,000 steps. That's loads, isn't it? No. My mum retired this week, 68. Right. Worked on a farm. Yeah. Honestly, she was sending me a step tracker every day for about a month. She was doing nearly between 25 and 28,000 steps a day.
Shit.
68.
Wow.
Her legs are about that big now.
Like she's invested in those accounts, so she's overflowing.
Yeah. Someone said my kids would turn nocturnal if I allowed that sleep pattern. You know what they do, to be more precise with what I said, they set a bedtime alarm. So it's not a wake up alarm, it's a bedtime alarm. They swip the alarms around. So it's like, go to bed at you have to go to bed at 10. It's a bedtime alarm, morning alarm, whatever. Get up as late as you can.
Yeah.
Very effective method. So anyway, wow, yeah. Movement low. And I was breaking my rules. The third thing is I was allowing some stress to build in my life, not dealing with some decisions, not making some decisions, lengthening out the process of things I knew that had to happen that I wasn't doing. On that, in Unbreakable, in our mastery program, we teach a technique called cut through, about cutting through emotion. I was not doing that in the morning. So I was letting little things build up. So I wasn't making decisions. A lot of us are like, I'm so stressed, but we've all got decisions we just need to make. We've all got things we just need to say. And that wasn't helping. We don't like to hear that when it comes to improving our mental health, because it's like, oh no, it's all, I'm massive meditation, all this stuff. But actually, sometimes just make some fucking decisions. Like, it does the work. Start doing the stuff we need to do. Fourth was my water intake was low. It's another yeah. I'm doing that. I wasn't doing enough of it. My water was poor. But the fifth thing is where I think the magic is. Personally, if you can sleep a bit more, your internet's going. If you can move a bit more, not just gym, I'm on about moving, as in getting your steps up. If you can start doing some of those things that you're putting off, just little things here and there that you keep putting off, that helps. If you can get your water intake up, that helps. There's 4 things. Now, everyone knows those, right? Does everyone know those things pretty much? Has anyone gone, nah? How much water? What a great question from Lorraine. Might as well answer that. Ben, have you got a way of answering that for the average person?
Yeah, well, the thing is, we always say 2 liters, right? But more than what you're drinking is a start. It's a big thing, especially in the 7-day program that we run, which is the free training. Like, we're getting people up and you're getting to hydrate. It is by oxygen, the most important nutrient to the body. And I used to say, you know, as personal training, like, how much water do you drink? And people would look at me like I've got an alien on my head. And then they'd say, I drink cups of tea. You know, again, it's the quality of water, but just drink more than what you're drinking. If you're not drinking now, just starting with a pint. It's a minimal effective dose. But on average, I mean, I drink 4 litres of water a day. I am an absolute aquaman. Has it took me a long time to get there? Yeah, as a habit, of course it has. And, you know, as time goes on as well, you start drinking water and your bladder gets used to it and all that type of stuff. But, man, just that alone will decrease stress. And not only that, you know, especially now with all this stuff going on and disease that's rife, you know, when you are dehydrated, your cognitive function is out of sync. And to think that kids don't drink water and are on sugary drinks all day, it's criminal. I believe it so. So for some reason, I've got kids on my mind tonight. When we're saying things, we've just done another group call, and go back to the kids and also think about the amount of water they're drinking. You know, Simon's saying there, that bedtime routine, bedtime alarm, opposed to your morning alarm. You know, setting that discipline with your kids, getting that quality sleep. And kids actually need more sleep than us. You know, need to charge that more. They're growing at more rapid rate. You know, the body needs that to recharge, grow, and adapt. So yeah, man, just more than what you're drinking right now. But optimally, if you can start heading towards as a goal, 2 litres of water as a baseline, you know, you're pretty much covering some corners there.
Yeah. Speaking about sleep, right? Just my brother will sleep for 20 minutes in his car at lunch, right? Just have a little nap, set his alarm, have a little nap, right? 20-minute alarm. I used to take the mick out of him, but he looks good. My brother's a handsome bloke. He must be mid-40s. He's 10 years older than me, mid-40s. Handsome, looks fresh, to be fair to him, got loads of hair. The motherfucker's been sleeping on his lunch break for 20 minutes in the car.
Getting paid.
Good on him. Do you know what I mean?
Wow.
Like, you know, because I read a study, well, a thing where most high-performing people in the world who work for themselves, for example, take afternoon naps. We think of that as lazy. Afternoon naps, I lazy. Sleeping past 7 o'clock, you've got to be up at 4, crushing the world. A lot of these people sleep so much because they understand that's what creates a powerful mind.
Sorry, just to add to that, I used to train some kids from Man City's youth team, and when they would train at the youth camp, they would have their own bedroom to have afternoon naps after training. And these were young fit lads, young athletes, and that they were adamant on that stuff.
But think, when we are stressed, what's the one thing that we start, or busy, what's the one thing we start to do less of for most people? Sleep. Yeah, work later, get up earlier, got loads on. So we become busy, but are we productive? Difficult. So the fifth one I want to talk about, which was drastically missing from my life the last 6 weeks while I've been building this out and Unbreakable and making all these changes, was stuff that gets me out of my head. And I've been talking about this at quite great length of late in a lot of my programs. I'm really interested in like the flow philosophy, when you're in the zone, people will call it, or when you're just in the moment. And so obviously everywhere's going into lockdown, different grades. And something that's quite dominant is this need for gyms to be open. And I don't disagree with that, by the way, before anyone starts saying they do what you're saying. I'm not saying gyms aren't important if you own a gym. But sometimes the logic behind why they should be open over other things. Now, not all people do this, so I'm not trying to pick an argument here, but when I see people sort of say, oh, that they're more important because they're for our mental health, they're more important than, say, restaurants, they're more important than other small groups because they're good for your mental health. That actually was alarming for me, because I think it showed how little we now know about mental health and the mind. Because for most people, for a lot of people, that will be something that gets them out of their mind. What's good for mental health is anything that turns off what you'd call the prefrontal cortex, for the most part, the thing that's always chattering away, that's reasoning. If you can turn that off, right, you'll experience a huge amount of freedom mentally in that moment. That's the flow state. That's the zone people get into when they're in a great moment. And that's really good for us. But you don't just get that from fucking exercise. In fact, it's quite hard work to get that from exercise. There's other benefits to exercise, of course, but it's quite hard work. The runner's high where they run and run and run till they get that place where it turns off, expends a lot of energy. And I actually did as an experiment for about 3 weeks. I haven't really shared this a couple of weeks back, that. And I ended up fucking knackered because I was doing it as an experiment. Like, I was tired. As soon as it went, my mind was all over the shop. And so on that logic, what I'm trying to say is everyone should have something in their day, in their week, whatever, that allows you to get out of your head. But to think it's just gyms is archaic. If you're using that logic, then some people do not get it at a gym. Some people get it gardening. Some people get it having a beer with their friend on a Friday night, like gets them out of their head, like a beer, and oh, that's terrible, that's not good for you. Actually, it's really good for you. That's missing in a lot of society, particularly for men these days, where they don't have that place to go and do that. Like, actually just have a bit of a laugh and a joke. For some people it's mountain biking, it is physical stuff, but for a lot of us it's an art. For a lot of us, for me, it's playing piano, having a piano lesson. There's so many things that are good for us that get us out of our head, and everybody is different. Everyone has a different thing. Some people it's music and live gigs. So if we're saying that we have to keep something else open for mental health, well, then that should be open for mental health, because for some people that's what gets them out of their head. It turns this part of the brain off and they're immersed in the moment. That's what it is. It can be walking a dog. But I think what that showed me, I think, of course, there's a lot of benefits to them. And how healthy you are, I get it. Like, I'm like, that's a fucking no-brainer given. But it showed me when the argument becomes it's more important than art club because it's good for your mental health. It's like, for that artist, that probably switches their part of their brain off and gets them into a completely different place. It's probably the greatest thing. That glass of wine with your mate in a social environment, which is also crucial, a rich environment. That's great for flow. A rich environment, lots of different things going on, different things happening. That turns some people into like in flow, into a nice state. But the key is, I think everyone's different and everyone knows their bag. And it's about putting that into your day as well. Tick off the basics. And if all you've heard me say is the argument about gyms, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that there's different things for different people. And that's what we need to understand. And then, of course, the logic is, but people get smashed at a pub. That's like me saying, all right, people exercise themselves to death and have a heart attack every day. Well, not everyone does that. Well, not everyone does that. It's again, that's our fucking, moderation thing, isn't it? We struggle to find balance. But I think and we don't understand how important this is to a high-performing mind. The highest performing minds have activities like that where they get out of their head. They get out of their head, they get into the moment, they turn it off. And when you come back from that moment, you're full of new awareness, new ideas. For the average person, when you come back from that moment, if it hasn't cost you your sanity because you're doing it in a way that isn't productive, then you're going to be clearer, calmer, and in a better place. But we look at mental health now as make sure you drink your water, make sure you go to the gym, and make sure you fucking talk to people. Yeah, given, basic. What about the other stuff? We just don't like something that doesn't fit in a nice tidy box. Everyone should be doing some of those activities. Some people, it's like riding their motorbike. Some people get it from driving, just long journeys. I can get it from meditation, sitting there, turning it off, finding that place. But at the same time, that takes a lot of practice. But when I play piano, when I get across the hills, when I have a beer with a mate, when I have a coffee with a friend, those things get me out of my head. I'm there. It's like, man, this is great. So it's encouraging all of those things. And it's knowing what floats your boat. Music's a good one for me. Emma's put reading for me.
I'd love to hear.
No one says that, though, massively, do they?
I'd love to hear what people, knowing what that flow state is now, hearing what Simon's saying. What would you say, on average, is your flow state, the thing you love to do, the thing where you're out your mind? I'd love to know.
Yeah. Ultimately, it's something that gets you out your mind and into your heart. I love to go dancing. Look at that. See, look. Go on, say that. You went underwater.
No, that's cool. They're coming in. Just saying what you're hearing inside say with a flow state. Like, yeah, dancing, reading, mountain biking, motorbiking, making love. All this good stuff.
Perfect example. So sometimes, yeah, computer games. Someone's put computer games. With all these things, you've got to weigh up the risk to reward ratio. So it's like, where does the risk of avoiding life come in to the reward? It's a bit deep, that. I'm not just picking on the Xbox thing, because it's, you know, but it's like, where does the, you know, for example, meditation's good, but where do we start? Where does the risks outweigh the reward? And somebody say, well, how is any risk to meditation? Well, if you just hate the world and go live in a cave and meditate all day, because that's the only way you can find, you know, your thing, then actually it turns into an avoidance tactic.
Yeah.
So it's always be careful that nothing turns into an avoidance tactic. I hope that makes sense. Ben, can you see the comments?
I can't see the comments today for some reason.
Our reader makes you. So in-depth convos with my daughters, music. Does watching Everton count? Yep, they're pretty decent at the minute, and I'll let you have it. Dog walks, golf, Alexa alarm, waking up to, happy, nice. Being back at work for me. I work in a restaurant. Yeah, work's a wonderful way people get out of their head for a lot of people. Dog walking at the beach, nice. Walking around my local park. I love music. You know, and we could build up on this to make it really flow based, but at the minute, just think of stuff that gets out your head. Getting my dog out, driving around, you know, the Malverns, horse riding, get out my mates and get on a mountain bike, dancing, country walks, dancing, photography, nice, reading, lots of dancing, gardening. Gardening's a big one for me. Fucking love gardening.
Yeah, do you?
Piano. Yeah, I love it. I love
snorkeling. I love snorkeling.
Scuba diving, yeah. Clyde watching. So some of these things are like, don't, because like we spend a lot of money and time getting out of our head in ways that don't help us. That's what a lot of addictions are. They just turn it off, right? And people also do it a lot of different ways. A good film can get you out your head a little bit. But if you said, oh, that's good for your mental health, people be like, no, it's not good for you. You've got to, these are all things you can add in. On their own, probably not so much. But when you add them into other basic steps, it's like, actually, you know what? There's loads of different ways. But I think that's a huge missing element. This shows how little understanding we have sometimes of the mind, where we think the only thing that's good for your mental health is what's good for your health, and they're very different things.
So we're doing that. The proof's in the pudding. What happened to the brainwaves? What's the difference that you're seeing? Like drastic or?
Well, here's an interesting fact. If I measure my brainwaves when I'm playing the keyboard, and I measure them when I'm meditating, they look almost identical.
That's nuts.
What does that tell you? If I measured them doing this, they'd be present but all over the shop, really.
Yeah.
If I sit and meditate effectively, they form a certain pattern that's considered healthy. When I did it playing piano, you'd have thought I'd meditated. It looks a little bit different, but
yeah,
you'd have thought I'd been meditating. Ultimately, my alpha levels always rise when I work on taking some stress out of my life. When I tick all the physical energy boxes, but also when I have more of that stuff in. When I have more of that stuff that gets me out of my head. Not because I'm afraid of it. I love my thinking for the most part, but because it's almost like you've taken it out and boom,
Mm.
you know, it's like reset. The critic turned off, you weren't thinking. Jigsaws.
Jigsaw, yeah.
What you're hearing me and Ben say, folks, because this is like people say do things that make you feel good, but there's a difference between doing something that makes you feel good and then doing something that kind of gets you out of your thinking. There's a big difference. That's a massive difference between flooding your body with pleasure
Mm.
and actually doing something that gets to the heart of who you are. And like, you know, for a lot of people, you know, spending quality time playing with your children and stuff, you know, playing some sort of game or something, the critic turns off and you're just in the moment. And it's like, why? You know, when
Mm.
did anyone say do that for your out for the performance of your brain? You know what? You probably should take some time out to play today. A good question, but if your energy is low, how do you motivate yourself to do it? At some point, and this is a, if you like, how do you motivate yourself to do the fun things? How do you need to tick off the water, the sleep, the movement, etc. But motivation's, I think, good question, is mostly overrated. Most of us aren't motivated because we don't know what we want and where we're going. So if anyone was in our program, I'm not motivated. The first thing you do is say, well, what are you after? What do you want? And then we get them to get very benefit heavy on what they want. It's a bit of a process. So that's the first point. You have to tick those boxes. Know what you want. Know why it's important. Know the benefits. I just said this to an academy feed. Sometimes the second part is you just have to be willing to do it to start with. Like, no one wants to say that answer, but sometimes it's like, well, you better get motivated. Not motivated necessarily, but you better just do it, whether you're motivated or not.
Mm.
Like, there's an element of fuck, I've got to actually do it as well. That's where community helps. That's why our 7-day challenge is so incredible, our free one, because obviously you're kind of dragged along in the crowd. I think. What do you think, Ben?
All the energy that he's talking right now is very easy to apply, but that energy amongst people and community and crowd is absolutely necessary. Humans need connection, right? And if you have low energy, you know, if it's being drained every day with everything that's going on in your life, if your sleep's poor, if you're hydrated, the basics that we're talking about right now, I think it's more in society right now and people being healthy and vibrant. It's like almost acceptable to feel like that. And like Simon says, I think motivation is highly overrated. And really, we're only ever motivated for the shit that we want to do. You know, and like any virtue, like willpower, all this type of stuff, they need training like anything else in life. And if we have low willpower with low energy, it's not about, oh, I've got this big task to do. What's the next logical step? Can you drink a pint of water in the morning? Can you get yourself in daylight? Can you do a breathing technique? Can you get yourself out of your head and just put a bit of music on? You don't have to be massively impactful straight away. And you'll feel the energy and then you'll get that rhythm. You know, the rocket analogy, you know, most of the fuel is in takeoff. And then I think it's like, is it 85% of the fuel and it's like 10%. And by the time it's on course, I mean, it's on literally no fuel. So it's like, there's always that momentum that needs to get it off the ground. But what's that cost if you don't? You know, sitting in a world with low energy, you know, you've got to use that as some leverage in a way that's like, no, I'm gonna make an effort. And for most of the time, it's just, we like to call it win the morning, which again, in fact, while we're here, we have an unbreakable mind pack that we can give that you can implement straight away to anybody that's on here. And that's where we get most people to start. Because when you're in that low energy state as well, you're not suggestible to yourself. An analogy of that is when someone's pissed off and they're shouting and you're trying to tell them to calm down, they're not responsive, they're not suggestible, they're in a state that's like, I ain't taking no information here. I'm in a place where I've got to look at threat, or the body's just identifying threat, which is completely normal human reaction, right? A human state, a survival state. So the first thing is even being aware of it. I've been about the guys in academy, the guys in the 30-day. The greatest thing that you can do, the greatest thing about that is that you're actually aware of it. You've got a majority of society who are burnt out, bored, drained of energy, thinking that is life. thinking going to bed late, feeling drained, serving the kids before they serve anybody else, being in a dead-end job, being in a relationship they don't like, watching the news, watching every other dream in front of their eyes that set themselves and going, yeah, that's what life is. That's not acceptable. That ain't acceptable. This is the reason why we come out here and give value, because we know most people can't get to the mastery level that we're at. So even this takes a form of energy, right? This is a transfer of energy. The people that are in here right now, the community that are in here right now, I guarantee most of you have got similar characteristics, similar standards. You're wanting more to come up at this time of night, 9:15, and get on the phone. That takes a level of energy. That takes a level of commitment. That takes a level of will. That takes a level of desire. That takes a level of change. And I don't think we give ourselves credit enough to that. And another part of energy that I absolutely love is just celebrate your shit on an evening. You know, to look back over your day and go, wow, I've done this. If you just celebrated that you turned up this evening and done something for you this evening, it will boost your energy, because energy are emotions, right? You feel better and guarantee your energy is better. You know, that's why one of our principles at Unbreakable is feeling first. There's a massive correlation to low energy and feeling like shit.
Yeah, I would say if you're struggling to get motivated, make it smaller, make everything smaller, make it the smallest possible thing. You got to get the snowball rolling. Just start it rolling. Make it very small. Be very clear on what you're doing. To be motivated, really, you should know what you're going to do, what's important now, and what you're going to do next. And they can be two simplest things. So you've got to know where you're going, know why it's important. We guide people through that in the 7 days, to be fair. The second thing is make it small. You know, make it small habits that aren't so overwhelming. The third thing is you have to get up and do it. Like at some point, I get a lot of questions. Not that you've asked me this question, but it's like, oh, but you know, I just find it so hard to do, and we kind of want somebody just to come down and give us this thing that makes us all of a sudden do everything. I think it's a bit of a myth that we look at people who are doing stuff and think they must be so motivated. Nah, they've just got good habits. You know, I'm not particularly motivated to do a lot of the stuff I do, but I do it because I do it more often than I don't. So at the start, for all people, there's an element of, fuck, this ain't going to be easy. Stop expecting it to be easy. And let's start making some changes, small ones. And they may seem pointless. When I started meditating, I had to sit for a minute every day in the same place. Pointless. But it wasn't. Because when I started sitting for a minute, it would turn 2, 3, 4, 5, da-da-da-da. So it's just getting going. And one thing I will say before we get out of here, when you hear me say one of the most important things to do is get out your head, don't use it as like I'm saying, it's not a distraction technique, and it's not a like, oh, I just need to keep doing that every day because I'm avoiding my life. It's very different. Don't hear me say that. If that's the case, you can change shit. Change that shit you don't like. The point I'm making here is, if you want a high-performing mind, then there has to be activities for you in your day that actually go here. And you're not trying to distract you from your mind. You're so immersed in what it is you're doing because you enjoy it and it's passionate or it's fun that actually it's so good for your brain. You know, and you're not going to get that every second of the day. So when you come back, if you come back to the same old shit, that needs working on. So don't hear me say, oh, just distract yourself all day. I'm not saying that. I'm saying do some stuff from here and it will improve this. And unfortunately, it's not always exercise. It's not always meditation. Actually, it's like, fucking hell, follow this for a bit, get some stuff that comes from here, and you'll get into a better state mentally. But don't use it as a distraction. I'm not saying that. So please don't hear me say that, because I hate that method. We're saying do some shit you love. It'll improve that. And it's very narrow-minded for the industry to think the only things that improve mental health are things that are like physical or things that are, you know, like tactics. There's a lot of other stuff that float different people's boats. If that was the case, everyone who went to the gym would be happy as fucking Larry.
I'd love to point to that is the reason why I come out of the physical game or as a personal trainer is because I have trained hundreds, if not thousands of people. And I would say 70% of them physically look better. But mentally, they were saying the same, and I couldn't work it out. It's what set me on this journey. It done it for me. You know, I was 17 stone when I started my journey. I was like, I just need to get fit and healthy and eat. And it definitely played a part. But I still had hindering thoughts. I still had doubt. I still had procrastination. I still had overwhelm. I was like, this doesn't even add up. Which is, you know, again, not a negative thing, because it's led us to where we are now, and be able to train the brain, improve its fitness, improve its state, improve its health, and have a trifecta of habits like mental, physical, and emotional. These are key elements that we go through in the 7 day. Very simple, very basic. That really, it's not that we didn't know, we've just kind of forgot. You know, leading from here first, you know, heart first, being in tune with this, being coherent, making sure that the language between this is translatable, making sure that we're not just living here trying to deal with everything logically and dealing with it energetically and emotionally. We can legitimately say now we have them tools and tactics and techniques. And here's what strikes me about the 7 days, which I love. If you know us from the outside in, you'll be thinking, wow, it's going to be absolutely groundbreaking. And it is, because of the way we put it together. But it's so simple and effective, you believe it wasn't true. That's how crazy this is. It's not about this massive change. It's about a realignment, a rebalance, some adjustment and adapt. And it, boom, you're back to where you're feeling good. And I'd ask you this question: when was the last time you actually felt great? And not only that, what are you going to do about it? Because if we even this that we're doing, it's great. But we're always conscious of if all we're doing is this and motivating people every Thursday, and they just go back to the same old world, we're doing you a disservice. We're actually doing you a disservice, because this information don't do shit unless you do something with it.
Yeah, definitely. So that being said, oh, hang on. There was going to be a point there. I saw the hands come. You'd like double judo chop. You were double karate chopping. You look like Austin Powers. Judo.
You know, I know we're hitting home, but I mean, it takes a lot to put on. I know these guys tune in. I know a lot of guys are already in the academy, master, wherever you're at. And we know there's some serious pressure and tension coming that way to people, a society that's already broken, right? So we got the 7 day coming up, and the 30th, I think, side. And for a capacity that we run, it's only 200 people, max 250, and we fill it out rapidly every time. And to be fair, the majority of people, half of people that commit and finish in the end, go on to get great results. That's great. But there's never been a time that I feel more purposeful to do the 7 day challenge with the current events that's going on in the world. Like, it's serious. Like, that pressure is no joke. And it's probably one of the reasons that's really prompted us to do another one in this short space of time. And that's obviously a lot of time and energy to us. And our time and energy isn't free. And like anybody's, and we value that. This is me coming away from my family. This is Simon coming away as his family to serve community and people at the highest level. And we appreciate you tuning in. But twofold, for people that are tuning in all the time and hear what we say we do, if you've not been on this 7 day, it's now time. On top of that, if you know anybody that could possibly need what we do, there's always that intimate connection of people. Community is very important right now. Your community is very important right now. You as a lighthouse in that community and showing people these possibilities right now is very important and vital to what we do. So, you know, coming to the end of this tonight, I would love and appreciate that intention of coming on board and letting people know that that is going down. And like I said, you know, the urgency is that there's only 200 people. And then for those that are tuning in, we've also got the Unbreakable Mind Pack. That was my reason for coming on tonight. I'm like, we need to get this out there, which will improve your energy, improve how you feel, improve your willpower and your morning routine that will impact the rest of your day. And if that sounds like you, then now is a time to take action. And what did he have to do did he comment on something on that side? Comment to me, message me on message side, but he can actually hashtag something, right?
Yeah, two things you can do. You can hashtag the symbol 7, and that will send you the information for the free 7 day program starting next week. It's free. We do it all the time, but we've just speeded this one up a bit because, like Ben said, Ben wanted to get it out. He's like, well, everyone's going into lockdown. Let's get this 7 days out. We normally take a bit longer between them. So it's next Friday. So hashtag 7 will get you on the list. It will get you the group link. You'll be in. If you've done it before maybe and you've done a couple and you just want the pack, hashtag upgrade, and that will send you that. But there's a message going out to every lockdown viewer, which will send you the 7 day link if you want to jump in or not. Ben said it. I don't need to say it anymore. Every week we show up, we talk about some stuff. 7 days is where you get some actual skills and tactics and tools and community. That's important. The 30 days is where you get real fucking meat of the training. Then academy is where you come to absolutely thrive your life away. And if you make it into mastery,
shit,
you know what you're doing.
The big boys, then,
An absolute blast tonight. Have a wonderful evening. I've had a blast, Ben. I've loved every second. We've got this wonderful little intro thing going on now, which I think is incredible. We need an outro thing. We need an outro thing now. But you know, like I said, go steady.
Like and share. Get it out there. Let's go. Let's go.
Like and share. And I'll see you on the other side.
Peace.